Hit the table. It's okay. Calls me to order. Thank you for joining us. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, 1.2, opening and setting of agenda for meeting.
314 was added today. Other than that, everything should be good.
I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 1.3, audience participation on agenda items. Yes, Lori.
3.12.
Thank you. On to the consent agenda. I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda as. So, thank you. Take a second.
Second.
Anything to pull out or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. All right, on to 3.1, consider Riverside Intermediate School principal appointment. Mr.
Yeah.
Order.
We are happy to announce Michelle Zentz as the new principal at Riverside. Michelle served as a teacher at Riverside from 2018 to 2020. Then she moved into an administrative role with North Miami for 3 years until this past year when she came back to us as the assistant of Riverside. Her experience, dedication to the students, and accountability stood out to our committee, and we look forward to continued growth and success at Riverside under Michelle's leadership. I recommend approval of Michelle Zentz as our next principal at Riverside Intermediate.
Take a motion to approve. So moved. Thank you. And a second? Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I look forward to serving as principal at Riverside.
Thank you.
you.
Good?
Good.
3.2, school resource officer introduction. Mr. Warren Byers.
Yes, so as you know, the city of Plymouth is providing a second school resource officer beginning 24-25 school year. We have Chief John Weir here this evening to make that introduction to the board. Chief?
I'm John Weir from the police department and Steve the lead. SRO, there you go.
So I've been with Plymouth for 24 years, almost 24 years. And ever since we've had the school resource officer position, I put in for it. It's something I've wanted to do. I think you have to be carefully selected, properly trained and equipped for this job. And I'm going to do my best for all the students and everyone to keep them safe and to assist with their learning education.
Steve recently completed basic school resource officer training last week in Michigan City. And he will primarily serve Riverside and our elementaries.
Riverside. Steve Lee.
Recognize everyone.
Those are some faces you'll see this whole. Well, thank you all.
And on a side note, Bridget got the award for
Yes.
SRO,
Yes.
so
Yes.
she's
Congratulations
not
to
here,
her. Yes.
if you didn't know. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys very much, Steve. Look forward to having you.
Thank you.
We can.
Yes, you're fine.
You don't want to stay for the meeting?
All right, 3.3, special education department update. Go ahead.
Okay, so we submitted a presentation and so we've got a few changes to our department. The first one is this one funky as it came through, but we have a new name. We're going to be called the Department of Exceptional Learners, and we created a new logo that encompasses not only Plymouth, but our co-op with Argus and Triton, as well as our preschool. We'll see how the rest of this comes through. We also are going to be using a new Medicaid billing provider. We should be able to increase our Medicaid billing substantially based on our school size and what we've talked with within the company Relay. They're going to offer us more individualized support to get us where we need to be and get more funding that way. And then we have been working on getting our budget finalized for CALS, our co-op, and that should be coming to the board at our next meeting. And then we are also looking into getting a new position of having an educational interpreter. That would be somebody on staff who is proficient in sign language. It will help our deaf and hard of hearing services and assist in that area as we are now having our own programming. And we just hired a new speech and language pathologist, Pamela Rosas, who is a Plymouth native, and she just graduated with her license, and she brings a bilingual component to our speech department, which is also something we need. Current projects we've been working on this summer, we're working on getting our special ed or exceptional learners website up and running. I'm even catching on to using the new name. We've been diligently sorting through Jessie files. We've probably got about 10 large boxes of stuff that needs shredded. As we're purging those and going through them and getting our own filing system in place. We're creating handbooks for our co-op and our teachers and support staff. We're rebranding all of our documents, and then we're creating rubrics for new employees. And then something else that I've kind of taken a hand in is our Little Rockies Early Learning Program, which is kind of the revamped preschool program that we now have. And so there's some updates with that as well. I feel like we're on a little bit. We've kind of got new leadership in place as some employees departed. We're expanding to all 4 locations, all 4 elementary schools. We have a new name, a new logo. We have consistent schedules and classes. We've made some tuition increases that families seem to be accepting, and it's not been a huge issue. And we're hiring new teachers at Jefferson, Webster, and Washington. And then we've got enrollment numbers as of a few days ago. They've increased or changed a little bit since I put this together. But we're looking at our pre-kindergarten groups that we have at each elementary. We want to have that classroom capped off at 20. So at Menominee, it's sitting at 18 students right now. And then our beginners, which is our 3-4 program, that's 3 days a week, right now has 11 students enrolled, max of 15. And then our 2-3-year-old program right now has 4 with a max of 10, but that's the one that we get first steps kiddos enrolled in throughout the year, so we want our numbers lower at the beginning. And then at Webster, we also have 19 of 20 enrolled in the pre-kindergarten class. We're sitting at 12 out of 15 for that 3-day-a-week, 3-4-year-old class, and then we have 7 out of the 10 for the morning, sorry, there's a morning and afternoon. 7 out of 10 for the morning and 5 out of 10 for the afternoon of that youngest age group. And then for our pre-kindergarten at Jefferson and Washington, we're sitting at 15 out of 20 at Jefferson and 18 out of 20 at Washington. I still haven't gone to our wait list students yet either. This was just getting confirmed yeses from our first round of things that we've reached out. So I would anticipate that we're within 1 student of that 20 probably for all 4 of those classes. We've had a huge response on that for the 4-5 high school. So where we're sitting right now, this kind of breaks down what those programs look like. We have a full day program 5 days a week for the pre-kindergarten. For the beginners, we have a 3-day-a-week half-day program in the mornings. And then that youngest group, we have both morning and afternoon half-day program on Tuesday and Thursday. This kind of shows what the tuition that we've increased to and what we think it'll bring in this year, which is an improvement from where we've been in the past. So it's helping fund some of this programming. So I just want to thank you for supporting our programs and initiatives, and if you need any more information on any of our updates, please reach out.
I don't know that everybody has met Stephanie.
Yeah.
Would you introduce Stephanie?
Yes.
Or Stephanie introduce
Yes,
herself?
this is
or-
Stephanie Berger, and she is now the Assistant Director of our Exceptional Learners Program, and she has a background in
School psychology for about 12 years. So I have my exceptional learners director's license, so no going back to school. But I'm very excited about this new opportunity and helping Lauren support all the initiatives. I'm super excited about our preschool expansion and watching that grow. I think that's very needed in our community.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on to what we need to vote on.
Yeah.
All right, 3.4, consider PAS relay school-based Medicaid provider billing agreement.
So Lauren has talked about both of these, so I'm just going to go ahead with, I recommend approval of the agreement between Relay and PCSC, first of all.
I'll take a motion to approve. So moved. Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Any questions? Discussion? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then on to 3.5, consider revisions to the PAS classified conditions of employment information.
Yes, I recommend approval of the revisions to the PAV's conditions of employment and the permission to hire an educational interpreter, as Lauren outlined in her presentation.
I'll take a motion to approve. So moved. Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, ladies. All right, 3.6, communication and marketing departmental update.
Hey, that's me.
Mhm.
All right.
You get to click forward on your own presentation. huh?
I know, so bear with me 1 second. I'm normally over in the corner streaming the meeting and projecting, but today I'm going to stand in front of you for a little bit. Okay, so I'm Lauren LaFave. I am the Director of Communications and Marketing here for Plymouth Schools. And if you didn't know, it's my first year in the position, and a lot has happened this year that's been really exciting, and it's really an honor to serve in this role. So I want to tell you a little bit about where we were when I started, where we are now, and then kind of some plans for the future. So first, you have to know your why. So I developed a mission for my department. So PCSC Communications and Marketing demonstrates why PCSC is the premier destination for education. All of you and everyone in this room, you guys are the reason it's so awesome, and I just get to tell everybody about it, which is really exciting. So I decided to focus on 6 major areas within my department to kind of highlight for you today. So first, I want to talk about some of our marketing initiatives. So where we were when I started, there weren't any like organized whole corporation marketing initiatives. There were departments who were kind of self-promoting what they were doing. But again, that's people doing their whole full-time jobs and then also kind of advertising what they're doing within that. So now I'm able to kind of take the reins and do the marketing for them. So a couple of projects this year, our board, you guys received a presentation a little more in detail on these, but just for everybody, we had our billboard campaign, which it focused on a version of our mission statement. Our mission statement is PCSC educates and equips every student for success, but that's pretty long for a billboard. So shortened it a little bit just to say success for every student, and then hit that Plymouth right on the every. Our principals are very marketable, friendly, amazing people, and having their smiling faces up there was the choice that we made there. And then the enroll message down the side. So we had 10 billboards over a 12-week, 10 over a 12-week period in different areas to see what that'll get us as we look at our registration data. So then we had a commercial, and the commercial aired 100 times on WHME TV 46. And that really focused on, first of all, our mission, focusing on every student, and it focused on us as a professional learning community, and as we're working on STEM certification. It included a lot of different areas in academics and arts to try to really include everything that we are. And then we produced 3 television episodes this year, also through WHME. And I like working with them because you own the rights to the videos afterwards rather than them just airing when you work like with news networks. So the first one was about the whole district. really about PLC, highlighted our principles, and Mr. McCord was also in that one. And it focused on what it means to be a professional learning community. And that script was based on the leaders really answering questions about what made their school special. And then they were able to kind of speak from the heart about why they love their community and why this is a great place to go to school. And then we did another one about just our kindergarten program. And then we did another one about just career and technical education. And so those aired Mondays and Sundays in a given month, 8 or 9 times depending on the month. So where we're going forward, we are working on new logos. We selected the design company that's going to be working on those throughout the year. That's kind of a longer process because once you pick a logo, we still have to do all the changing the outside signage. So it's a little bit longer of a process, but we do have the designer selected and we're working on that. Want to solidify a brand kit and make sure that we're using like the same Plymouth red. You'll notice sometimes like when everyone's making their own stuff, sometimes we get a little bit off of that red that we're going for. So I want to make sure that everyone can feel confident they're picking the red that's Plymouth red. And then the same type of fonts, typeface, and then consistent templates so that our voice is always being the Plymouth Community School Corporation's voice and really representing who we are. And then for marketing initiatives for this coming year, this will be really based on the enrollment data that's coming in. So our data director, Andrew Senek, was able to add a question to the enrollment packet that asked people how they heard about us, why they enrolled here. And that'll really give us some insight on, okay, so what land did Low Boards actually get us students? And we'll be able to see that data as that's coming in. Second thing is our social media. So I run our corporation social media, so that's what this is based on. So when I started, I was looking at the meta data analysis. So our Facebook, we had about 60 posts last school year. We reached about 31,000 people. Most of that came from when we sold our iPads, and we had about 1,700 reactions. On Instagram, we didn't have any posts last year. And then this year, we were able to hit 440 posts, and that's since July of last year, so 1 calendar year now. And we've reached over 255,000. But I ran these numbers like a week ago, so it's going to be a little more now. That's a 597% increase. So I think we did pretty good. And then we had 38,700 reactions. So, people hitting like, heart, all that. And then we hit 5,000 followers. And then for our Instagram, we hit a little over 2,000 followers, and we reached 22,000 since July, which is a 474.4% increase. And we had 20,000 reactions. Now on Instagram, you're going to see a little bit lower numbers because on Facebook, you have that option to share, and then a lot more people see things. On Instagram, it's got to come across their feed. We also created TikTok. We have 1,000 followers, so I'm looking forward to building that. And we have, we're close to 100,000 views on our videos on TikTok. And then, where we're going, I want to focus on just being consistent and persistent to grow our audience on social media. And then just continue to guide my school leaders who manage their own social media pages. So I'm not in the schools every day, so there's a point person at each school that runs that page. But when we meet, we're able to talk about having the same message. So one thing, for example, is they try to hit a classroom post every week. And then as we meet, we'll talk about different things like let's hit a service post and highlight some of the things that our students are doing. And then I want to focus more on student success. After being in the position for a year, I noticed more opportunities to celebrate students. So I want to really hone in on that. And then do some professional development for myself on video editing and photography to increase the quality of our posting. And then make sure everyone has those templates that will include our new brand kit that we're getting from our designer. And then now we have an application called ThrillShare that our leaders are getting trained on at the end of this month that allows people to, with one click, post to all social media and the website and email so that you're not having to go to like multiple different places all the time to get out information. So that's something that we're looking forward to. All right, and then TV news. So where we were, we had a couple of appearances last year, mostly like self-submission or reporters just find out about something going on, they reach out. The problem with that is, again, it's, people are doing their whole full-time job, but then also marketing themselves. And they have a job to do, so I find it helpful that I'm able to do that for them. And then you also have to make sure that we're aligning with our bylaws and our policies. And again, that's not everybody's job to be doing that, so it's like an extra job. So where we are now, this year we were on TV over 50 times, and we had a couple of longer form stories. I really enjoyed our longer solar panel story that we did, and then there were a couple of longer ones on Joshua Lee Ledine's Milk and Educator Award. So those were fun. And then one thing I do is I just make sure that our policies are being upheld, that kids that are not supposed to be on TV are not on there, and that we have a consistent voice communicating our message. And then I'm able to develop relationships with reporters, and then it becomes, once you have a relationship, it becomes easier to collaborate. You kind of know each other, you know what kind of pitches get picked up as you get to know reporters. And then where I'd like to go from there, I want to prioritize the longer form stories. It's great to have people come out here, but when we air for 30 seconds, it's like, So I want to prioritize some of those longer form stories, like the solar panel and Josh Diegelbach stories, and then maintain the presence with those larger networks. And I call it finding the story, but I want to promote PLC and our STEM certification more. So kind of finding out, what's happening in the classroom. How do you turn that into a story? So yes, we have students doing a project, maybe they're collaborating with local business. That can become a story, it just depends on the way that you present it. So I look forward to finding those stories this year. And then local news, we have some awesome local news networks. We have the Pilot newspaper, and then we have 2 major radio stations, Max 98.3 and WTCA. Again, where we were, it was a lot of self-submitting, or the reporters knew people or knew what was going on because they live in our community. So again, it's people marketing themselves and doing that extra job, which the reporters are great about finding the story. But now, because we have a relationship, it's easier since we know each other. If they need information, they can contact me and we're able to get it. If they can't reach somebody, I'm able to call their classroom phone or knock knock. I have a question. So yeah, it's been nice to collaborate with our local news networks, and you'll notice us in the local news weekly during the school year. And then moving forward, I want to continue to do those weekly submissions and seek out which departments were underrepresented and make sure that they're getting coverage this year. And then really pumping out our big message, which is PLC and STEM certification. And then our website. So where we were, there were no major changes. We had the same layout since 2014, going with the same provider. And then when I first started, I initially did a redesign. Partly it was included with the contract we were already in, so that was like a free thing that we could do. But you'll notice now, if you go to plymouth.k12.in.us, we have a new website that just came out, and then we're developing an app, and this also had a great cost savings for us, and it included some other things we were paying for, like archiving our social media. Our new site does that. So where we're going with that, this new website allows for a stream that's connected to our social media. So when I had put out a communication survey when I first started, I had some parents who aren't on social media feel a little left out, missing those social media posts. So this allows for that to be connected to the website, and then those parents are able to still get the same information that social media users are getting. And I just want to continue to make that more user-friendly. And then, if it wants to grow. All right, and then our Spanish content. So where we were, major information was going out in Spanish, and our social media posts would occasionally include Spanish, but now I work with Anna, and she works very hard to translate all of our social media and corporation communication. We have a shared Google Doc, and anything that I'm putting out, she's also looking at that and translating it to Spanish. So going forward, I just want to continue to make sure that Anna and I are working together to maximize that dual language output. And then collaborate on reaching families that are Spanish speaking with Anna's assistance. And celebrate more of our Spanish speaking student successes, because there's a lot of them, and I think with that collaboration, we can promote more of those stories. So my summary, I just want to say that I really respect the people that I work with, and when you work with people that are just genuinely good people, it's nice to market them because you believe in what they believe in, and everyone that I'm representing just deeply cares about students and cares about their education, and so it's a fulfilling role to fill because it's real, and everyone here deserves to be marketed. That's not my phone, right?
Somebody else really likes you.
They're live tweeting. Lauren's hesitation is the best. But yeah, I feel privileged to be in this position, and I find you all to be very inspiring. And I can only do my job because of how well everyone else does theirs. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Very
Lauren.
good. All right. 3.7, consider food bids. Is Amy in there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Amy's
Oh, there
there.
she is.
Hi, everybody.
Like,
Hope you're having a good summer. I'm hiding back here.
Yeah.
We're just requesting approval for the food bids for the coming year. They're all renewals, so nothing new. We'll go with Piazza again for produce, DFA Shankles for dairy, and HPS GFS for our broadliners. So just ask your approval for those bids.
Take a motion to approve. So, thank you. And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, Frank? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good job, Amy, on securing food for next school year.
Yay.
Should add that to the. All right, 3.8, adopt resolution 2024-4 to determine significant lunch account balance to bad debt. Mr. Boyer.
Yeah, so each year, we accrue some negative balances in our students' lunch accounts. And after the corporation has made reasonable efforts to collect on those, we can declare then those uncollectible debts as bad debt, and then use other non-state, non-federal funds to offset those debts. Amy here in the past year has established an angel fund in which we get some donations to help pay off some of those debts. And then again, we use other funds to help offset the rest of those. So this year we have $8,251.34 in uncollected student lunch balances. And I'm just seeking or asking that we declare those as uncollectible.
Thank you. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second. Second. Any questions for Stephen?
I just wanted to know, since we're gonna have the free lunches now, so, I mean, people shouldn't be able to get a negative balance anymore. They won't be able to order the other stuff, right?
So I don't know that it's been officially approved yet, but we have applied for, we have a high enough poverty level within the corporation that we are eligible to apply for and receive free meals for all students, which that then just allows will increase our reimbursement rates, so that rather than charging our families for every meal served, we'll get reimbursed from the federal government for those. So yeah, with that, we won't see uncollectible debts for next year.
Well, right, because a student would only be able to take the free choice if they don't have money in their
That's right.
account.
Yes. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah. You have to have money in your account for a la carte items.
Okay.
I think we're all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion
I would
carries.
just add real quick too. just we're down. That is about approximately $2,000 less than it was last year.
All right, 3.9, adopt resolution 2024-5 to declare bus 10 as surplus property.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we have a school bus, a 2018 International, that was involved in an accident back in December of 2022, if you recall. At the time, after an insurance assessment, the corporation determined that it was best to repair that. And so it was repaired and it was put back on the road a little over a year ago now. But unfortunately, we were just informed by our liability insurance provider that they are no longer going to insure that bus. When it was in that accident, part of the damage, or the most notable damage, was damage to or a bend in the frame And again, the underwriter for that policy is no longer, we can't get anybody else to. So we're asking your approval to declare that as surplus property. We do assess the value of that to be greater than $5,000. And so we have elected to go through a public bid process to see what we might get or what somebody might be willing to purchase that bus for. And so we will try to sell that by bid. We will unseal those bids in a public meeting and determine whether we've gotten a bid that justifies the sale of that. If not, we have some other options to explore, like taking the engine out of that bus and putting it in to another. And so again, those are options we will not explore until we determine whether or not we can fetch a reasonable price for that bus.
I will take a motion to approve the resolution.
So,
A second?
second.
All right, any questions for Stephen? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. 3.10, consider St. Michael's School Transportation Agreement.
Yeah, this agreement outlines the framework under which PCSC will provide transportation services for St. Michael's. This is the second year for this arrangement and no substantial changes to the previous agreement. So I recommend approval of the agreement between St. Michael's and PCSC.
Thank you. Take a motion to approve. Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions for Mitch? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3.11, consider Bowen Center Memorandum of Understanding.
Yeah, this is an MOU between Bowen Center and PCSC to provide mental health services for students in need. We have a very strong connection with Bowen and appreciate the services that they provide, and I recommend the approval of the MOU with Bowen.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second? Second. Thank you. Any questions for Mitch? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 3.12, new and revised policies and guidelines, first reading.
This is the first reading of a new group of special release Neola policies plus a remote work policy and its corresponding form. So,
Just for the group today, right?
yep.
Okay. Lori, did you have something?
Yes. PEA was wondering if there is criteria for how such decisions will be made, so there is consistency among employees requesting remote work.
Basically, it's typically been in our building mostly. We have some criteria. We have a worksheet that they have to fill out if they are doing remote work that logs all of their time and what they're doing that day so that they're not just taking the day off. So.
I guess, the question was the criteria to decide to give them that possibility of remote work. I'm not sure the answer to that.
We can talk about that with PEA.
And then there was one other question, with regard to student attendance and truancy prevention. Will you make clarification why only K through 6 is mentioned in the section discussing truancy prevention instead of K through 12?
I would have to get back with you on that, Lauren.
Okay.
But typically, you have more teeth in that at that age group versus the older kids. But yeah, we have a committee that is working on that, as you know. And the policy as it stands today is okay for what was passed in the legislation. But as you know, we are doing a book study and we're still talking about that whole attendance piece. So the policy that is here today may change as we look towards the following year.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, 3.13, consider Blueberry Festival Agreement 2024.
This is the annual agreement with the Blueberry Festival and PCSC. As you know, the Blueberry Festival, we help them out with the parking facilities. And so I recommend the approval of this agreement as presented, and I do believe there are not any changes from previous years.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3.14, consider memorandum of understanding regarding stormwater and drainage guarantees.
I'm gonna pitch this one over to Sean Cerisi.
So this is a agreement with the city of Plymouth that has to do with the Career Innovation Center project. Under the city's ordinances, anyone who's developing a project of that scope would have to submit a stormwater pollution prevention plan and a drainage plan. And then there's various financial guarantees that the city would require to be placed with the city clerk's office that essentially assures that you comply with the stormwater and drainage improvements, so that you're actually going to construct the drainage improvements, and that if there were any stormwater issues that needed to be attended to by the city, that they could draw on those funds to complete the necessary work. But due to the city's relationship with the school, they're considering during this MOU that they would approve at their Board of Public Works and Safety meeting next Monday, that would waive the financial guarantees on your promise to follow through with the requirements.
Thank you, Sean.
So we recommend approval between the city and PCSC for this MOU.
Yes. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions for Sean? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, 4.1 monthly remarks.
Would like to congratulate Michelle Zentz again for her appointment at Riverside. She's going to do a fantastic job. And thank you all for joining us from Riverside. We appreciate your being here. Also, thank you to Lauren and Lauren for the information that they shared this evening, and Stephanie as well. We'd like to thank Mike Mercer for the donation he has left behind to the junior high athletic department. It was a very large sum, and we are very grateful for all Mike has done for us throughout the years. Also, the Marshall County Health Department has donated $3,600 to allow us to purchase 2 AEDs. They have also given us 2 sets of washers and dryers. I think one is for Webster. I think maybe the other one might be Jefferson. I'm not sure where the second one is coming. So we have a really good relationship with Marshall County Health Department. Our next meeting will be on August the 6th at 6 p.m. and Ted Brown will be our special guest speaker. And we also have
You guys will all be back.
that's enough to make them come back, right? And we also plan to have Dave Schoaf give us an update on the projects that are going on. So
Are we doing a budget workshop at 6?
Budget workshop before. Is
Yes,
that
yes, I'm sorry.
At
Yes.
6 for the regular, okay.
Budget workshop for the 2025 upcoming budget season. Yep.
Is that 6 or 5:30?
6.
And this will be the regular, yeah. Good,
That's it.
okay. 5.1, audience participation on agenda items. Last call. All right, 6.1 adjournment, I'll take a motion to approve. So moved. Thank you. And a second? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.